Hey YouTube, this is Vanessa. I'm home for a fall break, and I decided to do a meme to request, not a meme, sorry, another tutorial on my Keyblade again, but this time I wanted to show in more detail how I cut them. So, I hope this helps. I didn't have someone to film for me, so you don't really get to see in detail, plus probably all you would see is like sawdust, and it's really hard to explain how the cuts would be without actually being there, but I think I did a pretty good job of giving some advice, and really the best thing I can say is to practice, just try it, just like get the tools and go do it, but anyway, you can tell I'm a little sick, so I haven't really done anything while I was at home, which is a shame because I wanted to get started on Masters. Keyblade I'm making for her. You can see the wood over there in the corner, sitting there lonely, not worked on at all. So instead, I'm going to finish the detail on my Keyblade because I never did the stuff in the head of them that is a little more difficult. And I'm going to start with a, here it is, a Dremel. Take a, I don't know if it'll focus on that. A good look at the head of it. You want to find one that looks as though it'll drill from the top down. You can ask anyone at the hardware store. They'll probably know what you're talking about. I need 2 hands for this, so I'm going to do a little bit and then show you a little bit and kind of go back and forth, like siege technique, okay? So, first what I did, this is why you need a Dremel bit that will go straight through, drill from the top. So I just drilled a perfect little hole. All I did was rotate it back and forth to drill a hole straight through. And then I can put my Dremel bit in and move from the inside out in kind of a concentric circle. Before I said that one of the ways you can cut is to drill a hole and then work outward from there. Another way is to start by outlining, because your drill bit will take off the first layer, and then you can just work down from there because plywood is built in layers. So you can take off the first layer and then just keep stripping off layers. Since your bit is designed to go downward, you can start, I don't know if you can see too well, but I've outlined it and taken a few layers off the top. And then, once I've outlined it, I don't have to worry about like going outside of my design. So I can just keep going back over and over this divot until it goes straight through. And that'll also help you make it uniform on this side as it is on this side, instead of having it like correct here and then like all wonky over there because you've held it at an angle or something. So, by holding it straight up, outlining and taking off the first layer, so you have this sort of stratus look, and you can go down from the top and not worry about cutting outside your lines. So give that a try. So as you can see, I'm about halfway done with the first step, which is to use the Dremel. Everything is pretty curved. You can see that a little bit better on the back side where there's no lining. Everything's sort of general shape. And that's because, as you've noticed, it's a really, like, angular, pointy kind of design. So I'm taking as much off as possible with the Dremel, which is what I prefer personally because I find it an easier tool for me to use. And then I'm going to go back in these smaller spots, or spots where it's meant to come to a point with the jigsaw. That kind of looks, I switched Keyblades. Like this, certain parts like this are all straight line, so I just drilled a hole so that it would be better, easier to put the blade of the jigsaw through. This is all pretty curvy. There are just a few lines here. I took out the curve here and left just a straight line because it's 10 times easier. So with the jigsaw, you can see this is a lot larger and a lot more powerful than a drill bit. It's a little harder to keep track of. So I positioned my Keyblade accordingly so that before I was working with it off the end so that it was just my elbow holding it down. That's not really going to fly with the drill bit. So you want to try and position it so that it's between both sawhorses. And if you have to do it this way, you want someone to hold down the other end for you. Okay? So get a helper if you need it. And I'm not going to turn this on. It's plugged in, so I'm not going to push anything. But really, the general idea is to slip it in, position you want to go, and try and keep your blade as perpendicular as you can. Don't tilt it just to the side or forward and back, because you won't get an even cut. You'll put too much tension on your blade and you'll potentially snap it. Make sure that every so often you're flipping your Keyblade over to see how it looks on the other side, because it'll look really different on the other side if you're only working from one side. Sometimes there are mistakes because you hold things at an angle. So one side is larger or smaller, or there are cuts on one side than on the other, so you want to watch out for that. That's how you do it, YouTube. Okay, I hope this was helpful. And if you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask. And now that my Keyblades are mostly complete, I can move on to sanding and painting, which I'll also show. Probably not anytime soon, but I will show. So, have a good night, YouTube. See you.